Hello friends! If you have trouble using busy pattern paper and like to use lots of photos on your layouts, then stay tuned because I've got lots of tips for you. I'm using this sketch to help me today. This is one of the sketches from the Creative Design Team's new 12 by 12 sketchbook, and I have my photos laid out pretty close to this sketch, but I am going to rearrange a little bit. I don't have a photo to go in this photo spot up in the top left, but I'm thinking I'm going to add a banner up there. I am super excited about this new 12 by 12 sketchbook. It has been a huge hit, so if you are interested in purchasing the digital download, I will leave all the info down below. I have pulled out a few stamp sets that I think I'm going to use. I am going to be using the Let's Party collection, which is a super bright, fun collection that I'm in love with from close to my heart. And there are a couple of stamps that go with the collection, like this one here. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be using the 6 for my son's 6th birthday here. And there's even the like TH and ND and ST and all of those to have like 6th and 1st and all that. There are a lot of really fun patterns in this pack, but my photos have tons of color, especially a lot of red. So I'm going to be testing out a bunch of the different patterns to see what I like best and make sure that the paper doesn't overwhelm all of the colorful photos. First up, I have this fun pattern with all of the icons. It is a fairly busy pattern, but I really like the blue background. It goes well with the little bit of blue that's in the photos. There's just a little bit of red to help bring out the red that's in the photos without being overwhelming. And then I want a pattern to go behind my photos as well to follow the sketch, but again, I don't want it to take away from the photos. So this one here, it matches because there's red, but it brings in too much red because of all the red in the photos. And then I thought, well, I'll try it over here, but nope, it's still too much red. I like this pattern too because of the pink, and my daughter has pink in her shirt, but I just wasn't loving it. I'm going to pull this Yay pattern in, which is actually my favorite paper from the whole pack. So that's going to end up staying. I think it looks good with my mom's blue jacket. And I'm going to try this sprinkle paper, which I do like because it's more of a white background. It's not quite as busy, more subdued, but the background is like an off-white instead of bright white. And I didn't like it with my photos, and I didn't like it with the other paper selections. So now I'm going to bring in some of the mix-in papers. I love the mix-in packs because they're designed to coordinate with the paper collections in Close to My Heart's catalogs, but they're more like subdued patterns or like tone on tone or one color with white. So they work really well when you need a pattern that's not overwhelming, and it will usually work well with a pattern that's pretty busy. There are these border stickers on the sticker sheet, which I absolutely love, but it just brought in too much more color, too much more pattern. So I'm going to save those for another layout. I tried using them on my last layout last week too, but just, I'll find a use for them one of these days. So here's what I ended up with: the black and white mix-in paper. I flipped it over to the side that's kind of like little polka dots, and I'm really liking that. But I feel like my layout is too heavy on the right side, especially at the top, because I don't have the photos on the left to balance it out. So I'm going to move those photos down to the bottom. I do like how that is balancing out a little bit better. I'll do some extra embellishing up at the top, but I did feel like it was still missing a little bit something. So this is where I'm bringing in that other bluish pattern with all of the icons. Since it is another busy pattern, I'm just using small strips of it, and I didn't bother cutting them down. I'm just going to slide them under the Yay paper, and I cut strips instead of a whole piece, but it's going to give you the illusion of having a whole piece behind that black and white piece as well. I am going to ink around the edges of these pieces just so that they pop a little bit better off of that white background. I'll just do a little bit for you here, and I will do the rest of that off camera. Now, if you recall watching one of my layouts from last week, I did use this same exact sketch, but I didn't put as many photos. I just used the photos that are going across the middle because I didn't have as many. So it's really fun to use these sketches as a jumping off point and just kind of alter them to work for your photos. The sticker sheet had this fun happy birthday bunting, and I thought it would be fun to add it up here. And I'm going to add the little 6 from that stamp set too. The numbers are actually just dies. They don't have stamps to go with them except for the little TH and all of that. So I cut 2 6s because I wanted to have a little bit of a white background kind of as a shadow. And then I'll get the rest of these little pieces in place. It's kind of tricky to get them all lined up and perfectly placed. Although I did not take the stick off these stickers like I often do, I didn't stick them down really hard. I just kind of tacked them down in one little corner before I was happy with the placement. And a lot of times I find that using tweezers to move your little pieces around is very helpful. So now I am going to be stamping the TH to make it 6th, and originally I was going to stamp it right onto my background paper, and so that's why I flipped over my Versamat, because the Versamat has a squishy surface on the back that's good for stamping. But then I realized as I was doing my little practice stamps that, hey, this stamp is really easy to cut out. So why risk not getting a perfect image when I stamp it on my background? Because it can be a little bit scary to stamp right onto your background. So instead, I just stamped it onto my scrap paper and cut it out. I have this new Stickles color that Close to My Heart released with this paper pack, and I thought it would be really fun to kind of use it underneath some of my embellishment clusters. So I'm going to start out with a little dab underneath this 6. I'm just using my finger. You know, sometimes your fingers are your best tools, and I'm just dipping it into the little pot and dabbing it onto my paper. And I'm going to come back and end up adding more because I realized that there were some little star confetti pieces in the stickles that didn't come out right away, and so I'll come back and go over them. I know I'm also going to have a little embellishment cluster down here. I had stamped and colored this cupcake off camera, and then I thought it would be really cute to add this glitter on the cupcake too, kind of as the frosting. And this is where I realized that, hey, there's little star pieces in here, and those weren't coming out in my little other dabs. So I'm going to try to get some stars in these other clusters as well. I do want to apologize for my video quality again. Like I mentioned in my last video, I was at a retreat a couple weeks ago and filmed several layouts. There were 2 clips where my lighting was just crazy, and this is one of those clips, and my last video had one of the other clips. So this is the last of my videos with bad lighting and some messed up clips, but bear with me because we'll have some better shots here at the end, and then of course I'll give you a close-up of everything and how it turned out, and that will be very clear and have good lighting again. I had this balloon die. The die is just a real small die. It's just the balloon with the little tie, the cutest tie ever. And so I thought it would be fun to use these balloons as embellishments. And usually when I use balloons on cards or layouts, I am kind of a stickler about making sure I have the balloon strings. But once I got all of these balloons in place, I kind of liked them without the strings, so they're just going to be floating balloons. I decided to put this little cluster over here, so I'm adding some more of that Stickles glitter gel, and then I'm going to go ahead and let that dry overnight before I put all of my embellishments in place. Now I've got all of the balloons in place, and you can see those cute as ever little ties on the balloons. And I thought I needed a little something underneath this cupcake to help ground it. And I also wanted a little more yellow because you can see there's 2 yellow balloons, and I wanted a visual triangle. So I brought some yellow down to the bottom. And now I'm bringing in the sticker sheet, and I'm going to use a lot of stickers from the sticker sheet just to add some fun little elements. And I'm also going to be balancing all of the colors because most of the balloons I have 2 of each color, and I want to make sure I have visual triangles. So this one here, I have a lot of red tablecloth showing in the bottom of this. This could have been a square photo, but I didn't need another square photo, so I kept it as a 3x4, and I'm just going to use some stickers to cover up the bottom of that photo since there's so much extra red showing. There was this cute little tab that I thought would look cute over here. There's lots of little banner and word stickers on this sheet that are just so easy to place here and there. So I'm going to do another little cluster down here because I thought that it felt a little bit bare. We have a lot going on the top left and then on the sides, and I felt that I needed just a little bit more visual weight here, and so I'm going to build a cluster kind of going downward here. So I've got a few little word stickers, and then I'm going to audition some other little hearts and little pieces that are on this sticker sheet as well. These photos are from my son's birthday almost 2 years ago. He's almost 8 now, and he had a Spider-Man themed birthday, but usually I save some of the Spider-Man or themed decorations, and I can't find where I put these ones. So usually I'll try to incorporate some of the decorations into my layout, but he's got his Spider-Man shirt on and you can see the decorations in the photos. So I think that it's fine to just leave them off here, but we have so many bright colors that it just really makes this layout look so fun. In the photo where he's right here, where he's about to blow out his cupcake, and a couple of the other photos, he kind of has like a worried look on his face, like he's not smiling. He had probably 10 friends at his party, 10 or 12, and he gets kind of shy even when it's all of his friends. So there's some photos where he was like really excited and really happy, and then there's some photos where he was a little bit overwhelmed by all of the people, and I totally get that because I'm the same way. I am super introverted and I love my friends and I love my people, but I'm always better in small groups. So anyways, it's just fun to look back on that, and I'm going to be journaling about that as well. We had his party at a local park, and it was in at the end of March, which in Colorado, you're really taking a risk if you have an outdoor party because you never know what the weather's going to be like. We did have a backup plan, but it ended up being like 70 degrees, which was just amazing. And everybody was commenting on how lucky we are that it was such good weather, and how beautiful it was outside, because us Coloradans, we like to be outside as often as we can. So I've done a lot of embellishing and added a lot of stickers, but I'm just kind of like tucking them here and there and strategically trying to balance the colors. So hopefully you can see that, how we have visual triangles and all of our colors balanced around the layout. So here is that close-up with good lighting and good focus. I will have still shots over on Instagram and Facebook, and all of my social media links are down below, as well as a list of all of the supplies that I have used. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And if you missed the last layout where I used that same exact sketch in a different way, then click the video on screen now. And I'll see you over there. Have a great day.